Okay, good. Because when I came in 1977, most people had never heard of Navy SEALs. So Navy SEAL training is considered some of the toughest military training in the world. And to give you a sense of the kind of the day and the way it goes, it's 6 months long. It's in San Diego, California, broken down into 3 phases. And you start your day at the crack of dawn with about 2 hours worth of calisthenics. So it is push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, flutter kicks. You are being harassed constantly throughout there. The instructors, when I went through, were Vietnam veterans. They were spraying you with hoses. They were kind of kicking you when they needed to. They were yelling at you constantly, and that goes on for 2 hours. Then you get a short break, about 30 minutes. Then you come back and you do a 4-mile soft sand run. Then you get another short break. Then you come back and you do a 2-mile open ocean swim. Then you run to chow with a boat on your head. You come back from that. You do an obstacle course. You come back from that. You got more calisthenics. And throughout the course of the day, you are constantly being harassed. And people often ask me, what does it take to get through SEAL training? I was telling Coach last night, I had a decathlete. I went to the University of Texas. In the last couple of years, I kind of ran the system. And one of the young kids who was a nationally ranked decathlete wanted to go to SEAL training. So I wanted to have lunch with me to find out what does it take to get through SEAL training. So he comes up and we're having lunch and he says, well, sir, I really kind of want to know the secret of SEAL training. I said, yeah, got it. He said, do I need to do more push-ups? No. Do I need to run more? No. Do I need to swim more? No. And he went through all this list of questions and he started to get frustrated when I said, no. I said, you only have to do one thing. Don't quit. He said, no, I got that. I said, no, I don't think you do. You are going to be in a position every day where something's going to want to make you quit. In SEAL training, it is the instructors, it is the cold water, it is an evolution after an event where you are tired and you are miserable and you say to yourself, is it worth it to me? Is it worth it to me to be a Navy SEAL? Is it worth it to me to change the rest of my life? But every day, something wants to make you quit. In SEAL training, we have a bell. It's a brass bell, a Navy bell. And all you have to do to quit is ring the bell. You ring the bell 3 times, and you no longer have to get up at the crack of dawn. You ring the bell 3 times, you no longer have to do the long swims or the long runs. All you have to do to quit is ring the bell. And we have a saying in the SEAL teams, never ring the bell. All of you guys are going to go through life and you are going to have those moments. Those moments when things just kick you in the gut. Those moments when things don't go well. Those moments when things turn against you. And let me tell you, I've had those moments in my life. Everybody in this room, certainly that's wearing a white shirt, has had those moments, and I'm sure you guys have had those moments. But the reason you're sitting here in these chairs right now is because you said, I am not going to ring the bell. And here's what I'm telling you. Life is going to throw a lot of things at you. You remember that saying, never ring the bell. Now let me tell you one other thing. Kids would come in, and again, most of them just a few years older than you, and they would look at what they had ahead of them. And they would say, my gosh, I'm starting the day with 2 hours of calisthenics, and I've got a run after that and a swim after that. How am I ever going to make it through the day? If I make it through the day, how am I ever going to make it through the next day? How am I going to make it through the next week? How am I going to make it through the next 6 months? And they got worried because they looked too far down the road. I heard one of the Dallas Cowboy players today saying, kind of live in the moment. We had another quote. We talked about evolutions. Every one of these events we referred to as an evolution. We said, take it one evolution at a time. What you want to do is you look at something you're doing, you do the very best you can. I don't care whether it's that play, if you're on the field on defense or offense, if that's one play, you do it the very, very best you can, and then you worry about the next play. If it's your class this day, you worry about that class, you do the best you can, and then you take the next day when it comes. You take it one evolution at a time. And finally, after 37 years in the SEAL teams, I will tell you, I had a lot of these moments where things didn't go well. And in one of those moments, I was in a parachute accident when I was about 45 years old. And in this parachute accident, free fall parachute jump. So you got the ramp in the back of the aircraft comes out of one of these beautiful days. I jumped out of the back of the airplane. You got a parachute on your back. You're free falling from about 13,000 feet. You're going to go down to about 5,500 feet. You pull your ripcord, your parachute opens, and you land beautifully, right? Except this day it didn't work out so well. I jumped out of the airplane, and as I'm coming down, I'm free falling, I'm looking good, beautiful sky. I look over to see this guy. Next thing I know, there's a guy underneath me. And it's 5,500 feet, and he pulls his parachute. And I'm moving at 120 miles an hour in this direction. and his parachute has just hit me in the face like an airbag. Now I am tumbling out of control. I'm a little bit stunned. I pull my ripcord. The pilot chute comes out of the back of my parachute, wraps around one leg. Another part of the parachute wraps around the other leg, and now I'm tangled in this parachute, falling at 120 miles an hour towards the ground. Thinking to myself, yeah, this doesn't look so good. As I begin to kind of screw with the parachute, the good news is it opens. The bad news is when it opened, it blossoms very quickly. And it took my legs and snapped them in two. And broke my pelvis by 5 inches, ripped my muscles out of my stomach and my back, fractured the back of my back, and I landed about 2 miles from the drop zone. Guys came, they picked me up, they took me to the hospital. I've got plates in the front, I've got a screw in the back. And as time went on, I finally got to the point where I was well enough again to kind of start jogging. And as SEALs tend to do, everybody challenges it, just like a football team. Let me tell you, being in the SEAL teams is just like being on a football team. But I went down to Virginia Beach to have a little SEAL reunion. And we had a little PT that day. We did calisthenics, and I could kind of get through some of the calisthenics. And then we went for a 10-mile run. Well, I lasted about 100 yards keeping up with the guys, but there were these 5 2-mile loops. And before long, no kidding, a one-legged guy passed me. He had done the loop, he had a prosthetic, and he came past me. And then another young SEAL came up to me. And I was a Navy captain at this point in time. I'd been in about 25 years when this accident occurred. And I am struggling. It's a bad day. I am barely moving. And he comes up beside me and he looks at me, and he's a young SEAL petty officer. And he says, "Hey, sir, what are you doing out here? You don't have anything to prove. You know, you've been in 25 years, you're a Navy captain, you've seen everything. You don't have anything to prove." And I thought to myself, he's wrong. He's absolutely wrong. Every one of you, every single day you wake up, you got something to prove. You want to be in the NFL? You want to go to college? You want to have a career in something else? Every single day you wake up, say, I got something to prove. I've got something to prove today. I'm going to prove that I can work harder than anybody else. I'm going to prove I'm smarter, I'm faster, I'm better, I'm stronger. And if I'm not that, I'm going to get there. I'm going to prove I can make it. So you remember that. You wake up every day, you say, I got something to prove. You realize that you take one evolution at a time, you do the best you can, and no matter what life throws at you, never ring that bell. Coach, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.